There has never been a better time than now to come join the Bellisio Foods team. Bellisio has a new contract in place with plenty of awesome perks for their employees. From increased wages, access to the free health clinic, vacation after 6 months, and much more, Bellisio Foods is committed to putting their employees first. For more information or to apply, visit BellisioFoods.com/careers. Take advantage of these great new employee benefits and join the Bellisio team today. Visit BellisioFoods.com/careers to learn more. We at Orange Crush have many things to be thankful for, including everyone who makes Orange Crush a part of their day. To show our thanks, Orange Crush, WKOV, and participating Save-A-Lot locations will be giving away Thanksgiving turkeys to dozens of winners because even though Thanksgiving celebrations still might look different this year, we know Thanksgiving favorites will still be a part of your plan. Visit GJPepsiContest.com/turkey to find out where you can enter to win now through November 18th. No purchase is necessary. See official rules for details.
Well, happy Election Day, everyone, and welcome to another edition of, your election coverage report here, because Pete Wilson's here, and that's what we're going to talk about today, right, Pete?
Yes, it is.
Election
day, so, if you're not clued in, we'll get you clued in. You still got until 7:30 tonight to vote.
Plenty of time.
And chances are, no matter where you live in Jackson County, there's something to vote on. All the polling places open, et cetera. We'll get into that.
Yeah, and, election days are always fun. They're exciting. Sometimes they're busier than others. But as you said, there's always something going on. And, this is no exception to that.
Right. Well, it is what they call a grassroots election. They use that phrase, off year election, not much going on. That really is not the case if you look at it through a local spectrum.
But no president, no governor, nothing like that.
No president, no governor, no senator, usually no congressman either. In this case, there is a congressional race in Vinton County, but it's a special one because of a resignation. So it's all local, but isn't that what counts? Close to home. These are the people being elected that's going to, make important decisions concerning your city, your village, your school district, your township.
And the school boards are a huge one this time.
Right. Well, we have in our local area, we consider Jackson and Vinton County's home turf. 3 of the 4 school boards, 3 of the 4 school districts, the school boards have contested races, which is not unusual.
No, it's not, but it's a big deal.
It very much is. School board members, it's an important decision because when they get elected, Jennifer, they get elected to 4-year terms. So, whoever gets in is in there for 4 years. And 5 school board members on each school board, staggered terms. Odd-numbered years, how it works, 2 of the 5 positions will be up in the next 2 years, and the odd-numbered year, the other 3 will be up, and so it goes. But those will always be in odd-numbered years. The city municipal village, it's always going to be in odd-numbered years. It'll never fall in the same year as the even-numbered years where you have all the national and state stuff that is so important. And maybe that's right that it's balanced out that way.
Yeah, maybe.
But it does seem like even though, there can certainly be a lot of interest in local elections, it's the presidential election that usually generates the most interest. And if it happens to be close and hotly contested, even more so.
That's right. And, look out, polls, because here they come. They come.
Right. But it is going on, Jennifer. In-person voting on Election Day started at 6:30 a.m. this morning.
That's right.
Will continue until 7:30 p.m. So still plenty of time to get out there and vote. The early voting ended officially, the early in-person voting, I should say, that you do at the boards of elections all over the state, all 88 counties, including Jackson and Vinton had that. It ended at 2 p.m. yesterday. Absentee ballots, which you can mail in, had to be mailed in by midnight last night if it's to be postmarked for it to be good. But absentee ballots can even be collected today. Hard copy absentee ballots. So some of those still coming in.
But don't think that you're going to go to the Board of Elections today because that's over with. You've had plenty of time to get there. So.
No, the early voting is over, and the absentee ballots can be returned. I'm just double checking. They can be returned all the way till 7:30 p.m. tonight. So if you haven't filled it out yet, you asked for a ballot, you picked one up, you haven't filled out, it's not even too late to do that. So, I know the goal of everybody is to give everybody the best access possible to voting.
Correct.
And it's never been easier as far as the convenience factor goes.
Absolutely.
But anyway, once again, 6:30 to 7:30. And the way that you can still vote is at the polling places. And we're going to go over real quick, Jennifer, the polling places in Jackson County, because remember they changed last year.
Yeah, we've changed quite a bit.
Right. And even though there was a primary election here in last May, a lot of people were not active in that. And it was not a countywide election. There was just some precincts that were involved, very few as a matter of fact. But in Jackson County, just as a reminder, because if you voted for years and years, and maybe you didn't vote last year in the general election, it's easy to lose sight of where the polling places are. They have been consolidated in Jackson County. So we'll do that first because, it's no good to do voter education on what's on the ballot if you don't go to the right place to vote.
Don't know where to go.
And then, that's elementary, but so important. Okay, there are 4 polling places now in Jackson County. One of them is at the Jackson Area YMCA. That serves everybody in the city of Jackson, everybody in Lick Township, and everybody in Franklin Township. All right. Another polling place is the Madison Jefferson Bingo Hall. That used to serve just Oak Hill, Madison, and Jefferson Townships. Now it also serves, in addition to everybody in the village, Madison Township and Jefferson Township, it also serves Bloomfield Township and Hamilton Township. Both of those townships there near Oak Hill. Madison Jefferson Bingo Hall on East Main Street in Oak Hill.
Report to that. James said that there were quite a few people parked there voting when he drove by.
Okay, well,
good for you.
Right, the trend keeps moving towards more early and absentee voting, especially the early in-person voting, because it's so convenient. You can do it over a 1-month period heading into the election. That's what I do now. At first, I resisted that because of tradition, but now it's so convenient to do.
Yep.
But the other 2 polling places would be the Jackson Vinton Community Action Agency in Wellston. That's always been the precinct for the city of Wellston, but is now the precinct not only for everybody in Wellston, but also Milton Township, Washington Township, and Jackson Township. The one that can throw you a little bit, the newest precinct or polling place is the Jackson Memorial Auditorium.
Correct.
Right. Because it's kind of strange a little bit. It's in Jackson, but nobody in Jackson votes there. Everybody in Jackson votes at the YMCA. But the folks who are assigned to the Jackson Memorial Auditorium are everybody in the village of Colton, Cole Township, which surrounds the village of Colton, Liberty Township to the west of the city of Jackson, and Scioto Township to the south and the west of the city of Jackson. So all those folks vote at Jackson Memorial Auditorium.
I can see where people get confused a little
bit. Right,
bit.
and this is the second general election that has been the case.
Yep.
Remember, last year they changed the consolidate the voting polling places just as an efficiency move. And of course, it was a little controversial. There were some people who did not like to see that happen, some public officials that protested. I'm sure maybe some of the residents in those places where they're not voting as close to home, they protested. But in the long run, I know the elections board felt that it was better for efficiency and security. And also they could do, even though there was more people voting in the larger places, they felt like they could even do the COVID-19 protocols a little better. I know on the other side of the argument, there were people saying, well, now you've got more people coming one place, but it's a bigger place also. You've got to consider that. So there you go on the polling places. Now, here were the numbers I got this morning, Jennifer, from the Board of Elections, and this was just before I got here. I don't have the numbers for Vinton County, but in Jackson County, there have been 1,149 persons who, as of this morning, had voted early in person. I'm talking about going to the actual Board of Elections office, which is now at 25 East South Street. We always got to keep saying that. In the back of the Job and Family Services building, 1,149 votes that way. 696 votes had come in on the mail on absentee ballots. So not as many voting that way as in person. But remember, the absentee votes will continue to come in the mail and possibly in person, people dropping them off today. So that number will go up. The early in-person votes, of course, that's going to be the final number, 1,149.
How many registered voters?
I believe in Jackson County, it is in the low 20s. It's over 20,000.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay.
you know, you're talking about, now that's really pretty good participation because in a county of 32,000, first of all, everybody under the age of 18 is not eligible to be a
Correct.
voter.
So you got to.
So, you know, I think you've got most people registered to vote. Now, I always think that when the so-called experts say, oh my gosh, we had 35% participation, that sounds lousy to me, but that's considered a pretty good turnout. And you know, it just comes down to whether people feel like it's important to them to get out and vote.
Right.
But, you know, I think the presidential vote last year was, you know, in the 50 to 60% vote total. But even then, when there was so much interest in the presidential race and
how
some
is
other
that?
state races, you know, it's still a lot of people electing to stay home.
Yeah.
But anyway, those numbers right there are indicative of what will be probably a light turnout in Jackson County overall. And that's to kind of be expected because, you know, in some of the polling places or in some of the precincts, like the different townships, some of the villages, there isn't contested races. And when there isn't any contested race, you know, you really don't have any decision to make. But let's go on and talk about what is on the ballot, particularly those contested races. You mentioned the school board.
Yep.
There are contested races in the Jackson City School District, the Wellston City School District, and the Vinton County Local School District. There are none in the Oak Hill Union Local School District. But in the Jackson City School District, you have incumbents Kim Harless and Alice Smith, who are both on the board now, running for re-election, 4-year terms. They are running against Robert Kite, better known as Bob, a Town longtime administrator, athletic director, teacher, coach here in the Jackson City School District, and Maureen Putker, Jackson resident, who I know is a former bus driver, I believe.
Yep.
So she's had an association with the schools.
For sure.
And what it is, they run as a group, Jennifer, for 2 seats. There isn't like there's 2 seats and, you know, you decide which one you're running for. So
Correct. 2 of the 4 will be elected.
2 of the 4 are elected.
Yep.
The 2 who receive the most votes are elected because there are 2 seats up in the Jackson City Board of Education. 3 other board members are in the middle of terms. Their names won't be on the ballot. You're talking about Brian Moore. You're talking about Dr. Brian Morris, and let's see, who would the other one be?
Why can't I think of his name? The highway patrolman.
Oh,
Okay.
Pat McDonald.
Thank you.
How could I do that?
What? Where did it go?
Pat is the board president. Very, very visible.
Well, I'm glad that you couldn't think of it either. for a
Right.
minute.
Okay. Well, anyway, we got it. All right. In the Wellston City School District,
Sorry, Pat.
there are 3 seats up on the line, and there are 4 candidates who are running.
Okay.
All right. Terry Gill, incumbent. Jennifer Ousley Pittman, incumbent. Their names are on the ballot. They're running once again for 4-year terms. But there are 2 other people who are running. One is an independent, Roger Rader.
Okay.
I'm not an independent. I'm sorry. Roger Rader is not an independent. It's nonpartisan for school board. So Roger Rader is a 3rd candidate.
Okay.
His name will be on the ballot. The 4th candidate, whose name won't be on the ballot, but he's a candidate, he's running as a write-in, is John Jackson, who was a
okay.
Wellston area resident and well known in the district, graduated from Wellston High School. He's a contractor. And so he is his name is not on the ballot, but he is a candidate. Nathan Mollahan, who is a Wellston resident and a businessman, he does Rocket Pizza.
Yes.
He filed as a write-in candidate, and officially he is still a candidate, but he told me several weeks ago when we did some pre-election coverage that he is not actively seeking that seat anymore. So,
Okay.
you know, he wasn't campaigning or seeking it, but it was, he never officially withdrew.
Okay.
And so still though, his name won't be on the ballot
keep that
anyway.
in mind.
And when you go to the Board of Elections on a write-in candidate, there's a blank that says write-in candidate. You don't know who it is. You have to know to write in that name, and you have to write it in correctly. So it really is a disadvantage if you're a write-in candidate. But write-in candidates have won. But you certainly, and I believe,
For sure.
I believe that the Board of Elections folks there cannot tell you who the write-in candidate is either. Pretty sure of that. So you have to know, and then you have to write the name in correctly for
Okay.
it to be counted. So that's the Wellston City Board of Education. Gretchen Crabtree is the 3rd member who would have been an incumbent, but she elected not to run. So
Correct.
that's the 3rd seat that is up for grabs. Once again, the top 3 of those 5 candidates will be elected. You have the 3 candidates whose name will be on the ballot, Gill, Ousley, Pittman, and Rader, and then you have the write-in candidate Jackson and the write-in candidate Mullahan, who is no longer actively seeking or wanting the post.
Got all that?
All right. Then in the Vinton County Local School District, we'll go ahead and move to Vinton County because we were talking about school board. There are 4 candidates running for 2 seats. Cindy Strasbaugh is the incumbent.
Okay.
The new candidates, the challengers, I guess you could call them, are Scarlett Newton, Laura Ann Martin, and Scott Phelps. Jeff Thacker currently is holding an unexpired term. He filled that unexpired term. He's been on the school board for a long time, more on than off. He was off for a couple years, and then he was appointed to fill an unexpired term when Dr. Millie Lane moved out of the district. Jeff did not run for re-election this time.
Okay.
So you have 2 open seats, and so you have 2 seats on the line. The top 2 candidates will be elected. And probably, there's always, some controversy or issues involved anytime that you have schools because, it's very important, a lot of things going on. There's always some issue behind the scenes or sometimes in the spotlight. And in Vinton County, it's been, the COVID and masking policy. There's been a lot of controversy in terms of people coming to the school board meetings. In fact, some of these candidates speaking against the masking policy that the school district has, or feeling like that it shouldn't be as strict as it is. And so that's definitely an issue out front that some of those challengers have talked about at school board meetings. So that's the big issue in Vinton County. In Wellston, of course, you just had a change in the superintendents. Right now, Karen Bach, we talked about that yesterday. Her last day was last Friday. And there was a split board, frankly, in Wellston, where Karen Bach had her supporters and there were folks who did not fully support Karen Bach. The last time that her contract was extended, it was only for 1 year.
Yeah, it was.
And then she ended up deciding to retire. And so, all this is circumstances that I'm talking about. They don't say a whole lot at the board meetings, but obviously some disagreements on how things are run. And there is now an interim superintendent, Marianne Hell, who was administrator for many years in Vinton County and is currently on the Vinton County Local Board of Education, although her seat is not up this year.
Right.
So she is the interim superintendent. So behind the scenes at Wellston, some of the issues might be just the direction of the district and the leadership there. So we'll see what happens there. And then in Oak Hill, we'll go ahead and mention Oak Hill, even though there are no contests there. There are no contests, but there's 3 open seats to the Oak Hill Union Local Board of Education. Joe Elsess and Mike French Jr., who have been on the board for more than 20 years, they're running again. And Paula Stewart, who has been on not as long, but for at least
quite
one
a while.
term. Yeah, she is running again, and they have no opposition. So I guess what you might say there is the public is satisfied. Because if you're not satisfied, people come out of the woodwork to run for office.
Yes.
So they don't have to sweat it out tonight, those 3. So congratulations to them. All right, we will turn now to Jackson City Council, where we have council is composed of 3 at-large seats. The at-large people represent the whole city. There are 4 other seats that are ward seats. They represent a geographic section of the city: Ward 1, Ward 2, Ward 3, Ward 4. In this year's election, none of the ward people are opposed. So the contests come down to the 3 at-large seats. So everybody in Jackson are voting on them. If you live in the city of Jackson, you're a registered voter. 7 candidates for 3 spots. The top 3 get elected. And the candidates are, these are ones who are, the incumbents are Brett Foster. He's a Republican. I think he's on the ballot as Paul Foster, but most folks know him as Brett. Brett Foster. Then you have Marva Colby. She's on as a Republican. And then you have Dan Call. Dan Call is running as an independent, but he is an incumbent. So you have the 3 incumbents to start off with. Then you have another Republican candidate, John Ondera, who was on council for a couple terms, did not run in 2019, is running in 2021. So he is one of the Republican candidates. Then you have two write-in candidates. You have former Councilman Ron Queen. He represented the 2nd Ward for a long time, did not run in 2019, but is running in 2021 as a write-in candidate. Then you have David Cribben. He is also a write-in candidate. He had intended to run as a Republican candidate, but his petition, there was some problems with his petition, and he ended up having not enough registered voters. And when that happens to you, and you file as a Republican or you file as a Republican or a Democrat, you're not allowed to run as an independent then, because you lost your eligibility, but you can run as a write-in candidate.
Gotcha.
So that's why he's running as a write-in candidate. That was the only option for him. Ron Queen, I don't think had to run as a write-in, but he chose to do it that way. All right, and so the other candidate is Barbie Mccatherine. A lot of people know Barbie. She ran for mayor in 2019, one of 3 people to run for mayor in Jackson. Of course, Randy Evans, the Republican, was the winner. Barbie is running as an independent for at-large council this time. Barbie has never been elected to anything. As I said, she ran for mayor, but she's well known as the coordinator, organizer, founder of the Cultivating Our Future group here in Jackson, which is a civic beautification group. She is in the news and will be in the news this Christmas season because she is the coordinator of the Christmas in the Park project at Manpower Park. So those are your candidates for Jackson City Council. Once again, Marva Colby, Paul Brett Foster, John Ondera, Dan Call, Barbie Britton Mccatherine, Ron Queen, and David Cribben. So once again, 7 seats, top 3 get elected.
Who do you want representing you?
Right, it's very, very important. Now, the other 4 ward councilmen who don't have to worry about getting elected, they would be John Peters, and John Peters on the ballot is Ryan Peters. I think Ryan chose to use his dad's name on the ballot in tribute to him. Of course, he lost his dad in August. John Peters had been the 2nd Ward councilman, died in the month of August, and he was replaced on the ballot when the Republican committee, because John Peters was a Republican, he was replaced by Harold Newkirk, who is the new 2nd Ward councilman. Harold Newkirk was appointed to serve the unexpired term of John Peters for the remainder of the year and also to be on the ballot. And Ryan Peters, who had been elected in 2019 after being appointed previously to that, he is on the ballot again, but unopposed as the 1st Ward councilman, and the name on the ballot is John Peters. I'm guessing that Ryan's middle name is John, or maybe his first name is John, but he is using that name on the ballot. The 3rd Ward councilman who is running unopposed is Deborah Biggs as the incumbent, and the 4th Ward councilman, this is a little interesting if you live in the 4th Ward, kind of on the west end of town. Pete Bopp had intended to run again as a Republican, but once again, problems with the names on the ballot or on his petition did not end up having enough because some of them were not good for whatever reason. Either they weren't registered, they didn't live in the 4th Ward. There's a number of reasons why they might not be approved, didn't have enough names. But nobody else ran for 4th Ward as a Democrat. Nobody ran as an independent. So Pete Bopp is running as a write-in candidate. And all he needs to do is write in his own name, and you're in.
You just need one.
You need one. 0 won't do it. You need 1. So he is the 4th Ward candidate.
I think you got it, Pete.
All right. I think so, too. All right. So that's really good for Pete because, it looked like he may have lost his chance when he was the 4th Ward councilman to keep that seat. But as it turns out, he is going to get to keep the seat. In the city of Wellston, city council seats are up as well. They're also up in Oak Hill for village council. They're up in Colton for village council. However, to make a long story short, there are no contests in Wellston, no contests in Oak Hill, no contests in Colton. Colton, as a matter of fact, they had a council meeting last night. They are short of councilmen, and there will probably be, since it's nonpartisan at the village level, you will see either the mayor and or council make some appointments at some time. I don't know whether it will be until after the first of the year or not, because the terms that are on there now do continue through the end of the calendar year. All right, so we've talked about the schools, we've talked about the cities, we've talked about the villages. On the city-village side, the only contested races are those at-large seats in the city of Jackson. All right, the other names will be on the ballot in these other places where the candidates are uncontested, and I'm sure they would appreciate your complimentary vote, but you're not making a decision. You're not picking someone over someone else there. Candidates are unopposed. All right, at the township level, it's kind of a mixed bag. This year, both in Jackson County and Vinton County, there are 2 trustee seats involved. There are 3 trustees for each of Jackson County's 12 townships, all right? In this odd-numbered year, 2 of the trustee seats are up. 2 years from now, in the next odd-numbered election, it'll be the other trustee seat and the fiscal officer seat. But all the terms are 4 years, so the village officials who are elected are on kind of like staggered terms there.
Okay.
So you're electing 2 of them in one odd-numbered year and 2 of them in another odd-numbered year. So this year in Jackson County, you have 2 trustee seats, and in one township you have an extra special election because they're having to replace a trustee who passed away, and they're going to fill the unexpired term. So we'll now go over the ones where there are contests in the townships.
I'm just going to tell you, I live in Franklin, and I've never seen so many people run for.
That is well, I tell you what.
Holy moly!
You brought it up, so let's talk about Franklin Township. All right, it's interesting in Franklin Township.
Woo!
It's probably not the most interesting one, but it's interesting. There are 2 incumbent trustees, Greg Farr and Jack Webb, and neither of them are running. So that's correct. Why you have all the interest.
They have been forever, like.
Right, and that's been one township, I can go back, my memory's still with me, where it seems like it's the same person's getting elected, fiscal officer as well as trustee. But now the gates are open for some new faces.
New blood.
Right, Greg Farr and Jack Webb not running. The new people who are running are Aaron Fannin, Scott Fraley, Brian Moore, Todd Riggle, and Todd Smith. So I'm throwing out names here, and I'm sure if you live in Franklin Township, or maybe if you don't, you know those folks.
Yeah.
But that's why, you see all the activity, you see all the signs out there. But the one where there's the most interest is Bloomfield Township, Jennifer. In Bloomfield Township, you not only have the 2 seats that would be up anyway, but you also have the 3rd seat that had been occupied by the late Robert Irvin. That's the same name as Mr. History, but that's not Mr. History, all right?
History,
it's a different Robert Irvin. He passed away last year, and so therefore his unexpired term is on the ballot, and you have a total of 10 candidates running for these 3 seats. Now, for the 2 trustee seats that are up for the full term, once again, the top 2 get elected. They run as a group. So those candidates are Tim Jones is one incumbent, but longtime trustee Roy Arthur. Remember Mr. Motor Oil?
Yeah.
He was the president of the Township Trustees and Fiscal Officers Association for a long time. Had those big banquets. Really put Jackson County Township government in the spotlight. So God bless him for that. But he's had some health problems, and he's not running for re-election. So that's another reason why you have people lining up in Bloomfield Township. You have a so-called open seat because you don't have an incumbent.
Yeah.
But the one incumbent, Tim Jones, is running. Roy Arthur is not. Others who are running for the full term, other than Tim Jones, are Edgar Conger, Jerry Logan, and Dan Neal. So you've got 4 people running for 2 seats.
Okay.
All right. Then for Irvin's unexpired term, even though it's just for the next 2 years, running through the unexpired term are Kurt Arthur, John Campbell, Richard E. Irwin Jr., Brian Leach, and Basil R. Ware Jr. So you have 5 people running for 1 unexpired term.
Wow.
So both of those will be going on. So we'll try to explain that tonight, when we do our election returns. All right. We talked about Franklin Township. In Jackson Township, where we know that there's a little bit of a controversy between the trustees and the fiscal officers, a little bit of a split there. We're working on a news story to explain that, but there is some disagreement there at the township. So there could be some extra interest in Jackson Township. But incumbent Frederick Powell is in a 3-man field with James Croston Jr. and Vernon Speakman. So you have 3 people running for 2 spots. Incumbent Bill Snow did not seek re-election. So the top 2, once again, will get elected: Frederick Powell, James Croston Jr., and Vernon Speakman. All right, you also have a contested race in Madison Township there in the southeast part of the county. Incumbents Greg Potter and Dennis Evans are running for re-election. However, they have company on the ballot. Gregory Farr and Corey Ruby are also running for township trustee. Now, Greg Farr, you remember him?
Is my Franklin Township.
He was the Franklin Township. Well,
They moved.
He moved to Madison Township.
Yeah.
I know the family does the turkey farm
Yes,
down there.
yes.
So they live not too far from where they live, but it's in a different township.
Yep.
And so Greg Farr, this is interesting angle for tonight's election coverage. He is hoping to be elected, but he's in a different township. So we'll see how that works out.
To the new township.
We'll see how that works out for him. So that's Madison Township.
Corey Ruby's our resident beekeeper.
Right, and so his name has been in the news a little bit too.
Yep.
We'll see how he does as a first-time candidate. In Milton Township, to the east of Wellston, James Hollingshead and Philip Thompson are seeking re-election. They're the incumbents.
Okay.
However, Charles Davis is also running, so you've got 3 people running for 2 spots. All right, in Scioto Township, same deal. Only there are 4 candidates for 2 spots. The incumbents would like to keep those jobs. They are James Leonard Sr., Jim Leonard is how I know him, and Aaron Lemaster, who I believe is the fire chief in Scioto Township.
Okay.
They would both like to remain as Scioto Township trustee, but there are 2 challengers, Brian H. Durham and Terry Trish. So once again, 4 people running for 2 available seats. The top 2 get in. In Washington Township, the incumbents Davy Atkins and Jeff Bates are running again, but there is a challenger, Kenny L. Jones. So that makes it a 3-person contest in Washington Township.
Okay.
All right, so that's how that goes there. Remember, once again, the polling places are open until 7:30 p.m. tonight.
You have plenty of time.
Take special interest in those townships where you have decisions being made on who is going to be your township trustee.
Right.
Not that you shouldn't go out and vote otherwise, but there is definitely a reason to go out if you're in those townships that we
For
talked
sure.
about, where there are competition.
They're representing you.
Right,
you know.
exactly.
Same as council.
There are no contests in Cole Township, Hamilton Township, Jefferson Township, Liberty Township, or Lick Township. And we'll go over who those people are because they don't have to worry about it, but you should know who's in your township. Bob Davis and Shane Smith are running for re-election in Cole Township. No opposition. In Hamilton Township, the incumbents Dale Cox and Delmer Reed are running. No competition. In Jefferson Township, the incumbents are Dwight Woods and Brett Shipman. Once again, no opposition. In Liberty Township, Kevin Meredith and Bill Rafferty are your incumbents. Once again, they have no competition. And in Lick Township, Sean Sexton and Steve Willis are running for re-election.
Okay.
They have no opposition. All right, as far as levies, a lot of times you have a lot because you have to pay to get it on the primary ballot. If you're running countywide or even just in a township. That's just the way the election law works. So it drives a lot of the tax issues to the general election. But there really aren't that many. In Jackson County, there are no countywide levies at all this time. However, in the city of Jackson, there is a 1 mil replacement levy for the fire department. Replacement means that if the levy is passed, it will reflect the new tax values for the property. It will not increase the millage. But you will pay into that levy based on the updated tax values. Because if you just
Which
renew
we are
it,
doing right now.
Right.
We're being reevaluated
we are
as
being
we speak.
reevaluated. Now that will be for later. This would, if this passes now, that will reflect the tax values that are in effect now. Because the reappraisal takes a little time.
I will say, Pete, that in all the years of doing election coverage, I would say that is the number one asked question ever on this program is please explain the difference between replacement and renewal.
Yeah.
So the long and short of it is replacement levy, your taxes are probably going to go up a little bit.
What you pay is going to go up.
What you pay is going to go up. Renewal, it will stay the same as it's just renewing what you're already paying.
Right. Even though your tax value goes up, and that's always going to go up anytime there's a reappraisal.
Correct.
Right. So, and there's also a triennial update that goes on too every 3 years.
Correct.
But here's the thing, and you can't blame these local entities for doing a replacement rather than a renewal because if you pass a levy in 2000 and you just do a renewal levy, the money that comes in from that is never going to go up. It's like never getting a raise if you work over 20 years because of inflation and whatever, whether you deserve it or not.
Right.
So, you're losing ground even though the money's the same.
So this is just, they're asking for you to pay at the reevaluated rate.
Right, and the difference with an additional and a replacement is that the millage is going up. You're going to pay more mills in addition to the tax values
Correct.
updated.
That's the additional. So that's plus
Right. And,
adding on to.
right, and the way it's worked in Jackson County, the pattern is voters seem to understand the replacement levy, unless there's some other issue involved in there that's got them upset. But the additional levy, it's like those are hard to pass because you're asking people to pay more. Even though on a replacement levy, you're going to pay more because, you know, the value of your property normally goes up. You know, it's an individual thing, but normally they go up. But there is no countywide levies. In the city of Jackson, there is a replacement levy for a fire department, 1 mil. In the village of Oak Hill, there is a 3 mil renewal levy for current expenses. Now, in Oak Hill, there's also a 1 mil renewal levy for cemetery operations. So in Oak Hill, they are asking for only renewals.
Maintain the status quo.
Right. You will not end up paying more even though your property values go up. So that's an example of where they're only asking for a renewal. In Hamilton Township, they are seeking a 2 mil replacement levy for the fire department.
Okay.
In Scioto Township, they're seeking a 1 mil replacement levy for cemetery operations and maintenance. In Washington Township, they're seeking a 1 mil renewal levy for maintaining and operating cemeteries.
Okay.
Then there is one, what we call liquor option, that is on the ballot, and the only people that will vote on this is the Oak Hill 2 precinct, which is where this business is. It's the Big O Carryout at 201 North Jackson Street in Oak Hill. We were talking on the air before where this exactly is. We can just say that it's obviously on the north end of town, State Route 93, as you come into town if you're coming from Jackson.
So, the high school end
the Big O Carryout. The address is 201 North Jackson Street. And what they're seeking, and they have to get voter approval for this, is a C1 approval for C1, C2, and D6 liquor sale licenses from the state. The state will have to approve it too, but there has to be voter approval. The first liquor option would allow for the sale of beer, wine, and mixed beverages on Monday through Saturday. The second option would allow the sale of beer, wine, and mixed beverages on Sunday.
It's just a Sunday sales.
Right. Only voters in Oak Hill 2 will vote on these two options.
Is that you, James? No? Okay.
No.
So, it's...
so we can't sway in one way or the other, can we?
No, not on that at all. But the liquor options are always interesting. But
especially in Oak Hill.
Right. And of course, Oak Hill is, quote, dry.
Yeah.
So this would kind of like be an island in Oak Hill where you can get the suds.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll see what happens there.
It is so interesting.
Usually the businesses, this is in the past, I don't know whether the Big O Carryout did this or not. They usually wage a pretty intensive campaign, but they keep it quiet except for the area where they're trying to get the support.
Sure.
Because, there might be some people who would just, they don't want controversy. They don't want a lot of noise. Say, about the sale of alcohol for the people that would be against it because it hasn't been there before. Yep. So,
Oak Hill, Ohio, and Westerville, Ohio. Westerville finally got it passed, so we'll see about Oak Hill.
Right, but in Vinton County, of course, this is in Vinton County. Of course, they're voting today. We already talked about the school board. The only contested race at the village level that I know of is in Hamden Village Council, where there are 6 candidates running for the available seats. Staggerly Bebout, Dale McManus.
Who is a man.
Right, exactly.
Wait, what did you say?
Staggerly Bebout. I don't know whether I pronounced that right, but
who is a man.
Right. We unfortunately thought that Staggerly was a woman. Used the pronoun she.
Oh, way to go, Pete.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Dale McManus, Michael Clare, Phyllis Henry, Frank Hollington, and Charles Boyd. We apologize for that.
No, that's fine.
But we did make that mistake. But there's 6 candidates running for. We don't even know how many spots there are there because we were unable to find that out. But we know that it's a contested race in Hamden Village Council.
Okay.
Then at the township level, there are a few contests there, and we should mention those. Let's do that. In Richland Township, Travis Fought, Wilford Tom Stevens, and Glendon Lewis are running for those 2 spots in Richland Township. Once again, same deal, 2 trustee spots on the line. In Eagle Township, Roger Channel is running for the unexpired term. Jack Vanover and James Anders are also running for an unexpired term. In Knox Township, Bradley Carter, William Morris, and Stewart Hall Jr. are running for the 2 seats that are up. The top 2, of course, will get elected. In Elk Township, there are 3 candidates: Donald Hamilton, Dilbert Fountain, and Audra Wright. So, tax levies and issues in Vinton County, there is a 4-H levy that is countywide. There's a Swan Township levy for maintaining separate cemeteries. In Vinton Township, there's a levy for roads. In Vinton Township, there's one for garbage service. In Hamden Village, there's a fire replacement levy. In Hamden, there's a police levy. In Madison Township, there's a cemeteries levy. That's a renewal. In Wilkesville, there's a garbage service levy, a replacement. In Clinton Township, there's both fire and EMS, which is the same issue.
Wow, a lot of levies.
There is also a levy on to support the health department. There is a levy in Knox Township, which is a renewal levy for road work. And the Vinton County Senior Citizens have a countywide levy on. And the Village of MacArthur has one on marijuana. So.
All right. What do you know? That's interesting.
Right. Well,
spill it, Pete.
An outside group came in, and this has happened apparently in other locales. Not every locale, because we don't know about it happening here in Jackson County before or in Vinton County prior to this. But it is basically an issue that, if passed, would make it legal, or it would make it legal for. It would take away the misdemeanor charges for possession of marijuana, is what it would do. And I know the police department,
just in the village.
Right, there's a little controversy.
MacArthur.
The police department came out against that, and then there was some pushback from the organization and the ACLU that put it on the ballot in the first place, saying that the police department, in its official capacity, shouldn't be campaigning against this issue.
It just seems, this is my opinion, just kind of bizarre that that's like an ordinance in little village of MacArthur, Ohio.
And once again, it was an outside group that put it on,
the devil's lettuce.
Not a citizen or whatever, not a local group.
Okay.
Maybe it was instigated locally, but it came from an outside group. And why the Village of MacArthur was chosen, I can't say.
I guess that's what I was getting
but obviously
at.
that's one that's interesting there. And then in Vinton County is one of the counties in the 15th Congressional District, and there is a special election for the unexpired term of that seat. It's got a lot of attention in the Columbus area because the seat includes part of Franklin County, and it's one of those districts where it's kind of like a snake. It comes all the way down into Vinton County. Doesn't seem like they should go together, but they do.
Right.
Steve Stivers resigned as congressman last May, or actually earlier than that. I think the effective date of his resignation was in May, to become the CEO of the Ohio Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
So that set up a special election called by the governor to fill the unexpired term. Stivers had just begun a 2-year term. He had been elected in 2020. So the unexpired term will go through 2022. All right. So there was a special election in May that was basically a primary election for Republicans and Democrats. The 2 winners on the Republican side were Mike Carey. On the Democrat side, Allison Russo. Mike Carey has been an executive with the Hyatt Coal Association. He is known to be a big supporter of Donald Trump and advertises that.
Okay.
And Allison Russo has been a state representative, and she has stressed her independence. However, she did accept an endorsement just yesterday from President Joe Biden. And so this is kind of one of those ones. I mean, it's important for the district, but it also has some national implications because of how close the majorities are in the U.S. House. And this is a seat that's not, you heard about how important 2022 is.
Yeah.
Well, here's a seat that's on the line in 2021. Now, whoever wins this race, they're going to have to run again next year. That's just the way it works. You just keep, may as well keep your signs out.
Yes.
But this is very important. The Republicans have held this seat, but it's been close. And so a lot of attention being focused on this nationally and statewide, as it being maybe a bellwether or whatever, because Mike Carey has been very open in his support for Donald Trump, who is very controversial. He has quite a bit of support. And then he has a lot of people who don't like him as well. I think that's safe to say.
I can tell you in the Vinton County area, there's a lot more Trump signs than you see anything else. So
right, and Allison Russo has tried to stay away from the national stuff for the most part, and said that she's an independent voice who can work with everybody.
Okay.
And of course, Mike
refreshing.
Carey said he would work with everybody too.
Sure.
So there you go. That's in Vinton County. So that's kind of like a snapshot of the election. And
wow.
Of course, this segues right into our coverage of the election.
Correct.
We will be there, and James can maybe jump in and help on this because he's helping coordinate it from the technical side.
That's right.
We are going to be doing it on the radio, and we're going to be doing it on TV too through our Facebook.
Yeah,
it's going to be live coverage starting at 7:30 because that's when the polls open.
Correct.
We'll have Jackson County coverage and Vinton County coverage. Myself and Phil Buffington will be bringing you the Jackson County returns. James will be right there behind the scenes helping out. Maybe some other folks in there too. Red Thompson Jr. will be up there for the newspaper in Vinton County. Jeff Thacker will be up there for the radio/TV doing live reports as the votes come in. And so it's all going to start at 7:30. It'll be live, and the Facebook will stay live on the air. But our plan is to come on every half hour, at least every half hour, or whenever we can get the reports. And we will stay on as long as we have something to say. But you can count on, if we're all caught up and there's nothing new, we'll go off the air. You don't have to stand and just look at our faces or see us sing and dance. Come back at the top of the hour or at the bottom of the hour, and we'll tell you where we stand.
That's right.
And in addition to updating whatever we get from Jackson County and Vinton County, we'll tell you about that congressional race in Vinton County because there'll be returns coming in from other counties that are involved in that. And we'll even maybe report on that Virginia gubernatorial race that a lot of people have interest in.
Boy, that's a big one.
Another bellwether
race
it
is.
On the national scene, as you have Terry McAuliffe, the incumbent Democrat, running against Glenn Youngkin, the Republican challenger. A lot of interest in that. If you
say, man, that could go either way.
Right. So, in anything that's national or state, and there's not a whole lot, if we can throw in with that, we'll do that as well.
And we're sorry we can't. As the radio is transitioning and total media is transitioning, our thoughts were that we would all be in the studio doing all of this in the TV studio, but unfortunately we can't do that this time. But next time we'll get them.
Right. We are in transition.
It will be fantastic regardless.
Right.
But
just yesterday, the radio...
Just a little tighter quarters than normal.
The radio is calling the Stockmeister Plaza home where the Telegram has for about a month now, where Zip Printing has been for a little bit more than a month. And so we're the lonesome kids still here in the radio building, but, we're okay with that.
That's right.
But it'll be
We're
soon.
holding it down, don't worry.
We hope that soon everybody will be under one roof there at Stockmeister Plaza, 708 East Main Street in Jackson. But tonight, we will be in the new WKOV studio at Stockmeister Plaza. So it'll look a little bit different, the background and all. And, James is working, behind the scenes on some production things that should make it very nice in addition to the live reporting that we'll be doing. And we can say this, we're going to be getting returns as soon as they are available from the Jackson County Board of Elections. And it is the place to where you can hear it first. I mean, that has not changed. We don't get the precinct by precinct reports like we used to. We wish it was still that way, but
that made it a lot of fun.
It made it because every minute there was something new to say, and you're getting your calculators out. Well, those are the old days. It doesn't work that way now. So, but we'll do the best we can with what we have, and it still adds up to the same thing. We'll be able to give you the results before you would have got them anywhere else.
That's right. So tune here. Where would be the best place, James, to tune into?
So we'll be on 96.7 FM and the Telegram News Facebook page.
So if they want to actually see.
Yeah, so if you want to see the video, it'll be streaming on the Telegram News on Facebook.
Right, and the
we
audio
will share it to this page.
Right, the audio will be the same. The audio will be the same. And so, we'll keep you up to date on everything. And on the Telegram side, of course, we're going to get some results online tonight. Our print deadline is too early for us to be able to get that in the Wednesday paper.
Sure.
That was always a headache, wondering whether you could do that.
I know.
And all you could do is basically put winners and losers. And so now with our website, we can do that instantly. We can put it also to the Telegram Facebook as well. And we, as a public service, will put that information out free for you. So look at all the places. the radio and the TV/Facebook for the immediacy. And then right behind it, we'll have stuff posted on our newspaper website and also on the newspaper Facebook as well. Then more in-depth reporting coming, with some comments from some of the winners, follow-up coverage in the newspaper and in the Saturday print edition.
And that's always interesting. And to get the actual candidates in there, winners, losers, whatever it may be,
that's what
just to talk with those folks.
Well, that's what we want to do, in the long run and going forward.
Yeah.
It's not going to be possible this year, probably because of our transition situation. But
in a small situation.
But we haven't given up on anything. We'll do what we can, but we know we're going to be able to give you the results.
That's right.
As quick as humanly possible.
And next election, you watch out. It's going to be on.
Yeah, it should be it should be great. Yeah. So we're
It'll be a party.
We're looking forward to that.
Yes.
And of course, we thank everybody who is making that happen. Our coverage. So we'll be there once again. It'll start at 7:30, Jennifer.
Yep.
And at least every half hour. In other words, 8 p.m., 8:30 p.m., 9 p.m. However long it takes to get those results in. And the Facebook will continue to stream live. So you just keep that pulled up wherever you are.
There you go. So you just turn here, and you'll know when we know.
Exactly. That's the best way to say it.
Yep.
We'll see it on the email, and then 10 seconds later, hopefully, we're giving you the results.
You got it. All right. Well, Pete, thank you for spending your morning again with us. Are you tired of us yet?
Oh no, absolutely not. We love coming over here and having a laugh. It's a ball.
He's got a lot of balls in the air tonight. He's juggling.
Okay. All right. You gotta laugh a little bit, right?
Oh, you do. Well, Pete, you want to stay for the weather?
Okay. Well, I will go ahead and do my exit stage.
Okay.
Right.
He's exiting stage right. We'll do the weather.
All right. Well, thank you all, and we will see you tonight at 7:30.
Yes, sounds good. All right. Thank you, Pete. And if you're wondering what your Total Media Radio weather forecast looks like, is the app up and running yet, James?
I don't think so.
Don't think so? Okay. Still working on that as the transition continues on from the weekend to move all the radio and all the different things going on. But don't forget, today on your election day, partly cloudy skies, highs around 49 degrees. For tonight, mostly clear and widespread frost in the forecast. Lows dipping down all the way to 28 overnight tonight. Tomorrow, Wednesday, about the same. Widespread frost in the morning, so do be careful or cover up your windshields tonight, as if you don't want to scrape anything tomorrow morning. Highs tomorrow around 49, and Thursday about the same, although they did do away with those snowflakes falling out of the sky.
Not ready for snow yet.
But 49 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about the snowflakes yet. I was reading an article this morning, and it was talking about different parts of the country and when normal snowfall, like the first snowfall happens. And our part of the country in Ohio around here, it's typically in November.
Really?
But they're saying, I know, I thought that was early.
First? Okay.
Yeah. But they say like New England and a lot, the mountain states, whatever, are typically October.
Yeah.
It's
all year some places.
Correct. Yeah. But I'm like, I don't know about, although we have just been blessed with just a gorgeous fall.
Yeah, mostly till it started raining.
Till it started raining, and it hasn't quit yet.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to rain today, even though it's not.
Yeah.
So, but no, lots and lots of interest in the election. Don't forget, you have until 7:30 tonight to place your vote and make your, your word count.
Mm-hmm.
Your
Absolutely.
thoughts. Yep. So, all right. So, I know that this has nothing to do with anything other than I was asking you this before the show. There is a Tiger King 2 coming out.
Yeah, I was going to say, are we going to go straight into Tiger King?
I'm so confused right now. How is there a Tiger King 2 coming out?
Well,
Carol
it's the
freaking
story
Baskin.
Of their life, and they have continued to live their life over the last 2 years since that show came out, and they're just, catching up, filling in the all the loose threads that we just have to know. Like what
What, like
happened to Carol's husband?
Joe Exotic
What's
and
Joe doing in
the
prison?
clink and
why didn't Trump pardon him? And
all of these things.
Yeah.
Well, so the Tiger King 2 is planning, they are planning on coming out with the Tiger King 2.
Yeah.
And in true Carol Baskin fashion, she is suing Netflix.
why?
Because
That's just like, oh, you made me rich and famous?
yeah,
I think I'll sue you.
I'm going to sue you. By the way, the Tiger King 2 is coming out November 17th, and I say it's going to put Squid Game to shame. What do you want to bet?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think they're going to catch lightning in a bottle twice. I did just get a message from our engineer, Justin, and says the WKOV stream will be back up this afternoon.
Oh, great.
So you should be able to listen to the election results on the app.
Fantastic. So wherever you are, you can listen. But yes, Carol Baskin and her husband, the live one.
Yeah, the
The
current
one that's current
The one-
and
the one
alive.
that she dressed up like a caveman for
Yes.
their engagement pictures.
That one that she didn't
Yeah,
off.
they didn't go missing.
Yeah. They are suing Netflix because they are saying that that Netflix is in breach of the terms of appearance releases. So basically they're saying that Netflix had releases to show their likeness, videos of their life and whatever in the first Tiger King, but they don't have that for the second one. So
it sounds to me
we'll
that
see.
This boils down to they didn't get paid that much for the first documentary. The first documentary made a ton of money.
Probably.
Now she wants to redo that contract. That's what it sounds like to me. Which, fair enough.
So,
You got to make your money when you can, I guess.
as if this is the pot calling the kettle black. Baskin has been vocal about her disdain for Tiger King 2, telling Variety, which is a magazine, shortly after the sequel series was announced, "I wouldn't call Eric Goode or Rebecca Chaiklin true documentarians. I mean, that was just a reality show dumpster fire." Well,
Yeah,
it was a reality show dumpster fire that earned a whole lot of money, and as if she's not a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Baskin.
I mean, the first season made her look bad. So, why would she... If she's worried about looking bad, why would she agree to do a second season? Because they're obviously just going to continue to make her look bad.
They are, for sure. So part of it is, though, them trying to figure out what happened to her husband that disappeared in 97. But she is, I think, what she's really ticked off about is the fact of how bad they made her look in the first one. And she knows they're going to do it again and whatever.
But it's also she was on Dancing with the Stars and
correct.
all that
You
stuff.
continue to put yourself out there and make yourself.
Yeah, she's... Yeah, I mean...
It doesn't work both ways.
Yeah, it's definitely any news is good news kind of thing. Because it's just keeping her,
It keeps her
keeping
relevant.
Yeah. She's
It's
gonna
like the
be
Kanye
doing
West of
autograph
the
signings and all that stuff.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Interesting, but if you are a Tiger King fan, never fear. It will be back November 17th. Is Joe Exotic in it?
Yeah, there's taped phone conversations with him from prison and stuff in the trailer.
So, I know at least one or two of the folks that was in the first one have passed on since.
I don't know about that.
Since then, one guy just recently died.
I don't know.
So, why don't you know?
So
Are you not
follow
keeping
the Tiger
track?
King that closely. I had kind of forgot about it until that trailer dropped on YouTube a couple days ago.
Honestly, I swear, it's kind of one of those where if I didn't see her face in this news article, I would have never thought about it again. Although at the time, and I will say, if you want to talk about the perfect storm of having this train wreck come out during COVID.
I mean, it came out, that came out the week after all the stay-at-home orders came in.
It just went absolutely nuts. Also, I thought this was very strange. A child in Ohio, in Fostoria, made a demented discovery inside their Halloween candy. They found 2 sewing needles stuck in a Kit Kat bar.
Yeah, and by found, you mean they put a sewing needle in a Kit Kat bar and then said, hey, I found a sewing needle in my Kit Kat bar.
I don't know. The police are involved. They're aware of 2 pieces of candy being involved. Both pieces of tampered candy had a sewing needle placed inside. The child says they received it while trick-or-treating. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm blaming
We'll
the
see.
kids. I'm blaming the kids. I just
I don't know. It's
I just
possible.
don't believe that adults do things like that. Why would they do it?
I know. I feel like that's like such an urban legend
Yeah.
of stuff to have
It's
happen.
just an urban
but
myth, and the kid thought it would be funny
maybe.
and got on Yahoo News or wherever. He
Right.
found
I
that.
made it on the news for a minute.
Yep.
Also in the news today is the Day of the Dead, which is basically the ancient indigenous people of Mexico practice rituals. And it celebrates the life of past ancestors, and it has been going on for around 3,000 years.
Yep.
So that's interesting. And more importantly, to end the program today, I expect you all to celebrate later on, is National Deviled Egg Day.
Yep.
Now,
What the collision course of Election Day and National
Deviled Egg Day, I just don't even know. I mean, this is like really stressing me out. There's a lot going on today.
Yeah. When you go to vote, if it says write-in candidate, put deviled eggs.
Put deviled eggs.
If you don't want to vote for any of them.
Correct.
Yeah.
Deviled made its debut in 1786 because deviled foods are seasoned, fried, or boiled.
So what's devil's food cake?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, unrelated, probably.
Maybe. A collection of ancient Roman recipes include eggs seasoned with oil, wine, or broth. But I thought this was interesting. Did it print it out? Okay. Yay or nay? Keep it simple. Obviously, the normal deviled eggs, mustard and relish and all that stuff. You mix it together. Would you or would you not try dessert deviled eggs?
What's a dessert deviled egg?
Chocolate deviled eggs sub the yolk center with a mixture of cream cheese, cocoa powder, powdered sugar, and heavy cream, and top it with sprinkles and sea salt.
But still the egg white?
Yes. So you take the yolk out, and then you take like cream cheese, cocoa powder, all that stuff, mix it together, put it back in the egg. I guess if you think about it, like cakes and stuff have egg in it.
Yeah.
But I just don't know. I don't know. Would you or
boiled eggs in them?
Would you or would you not? What do you think?
Mean, it doesn't sound good.
I would try it.
I mean, I guess if it was here, I would try it, but I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to order that at a restaurant.
I know, right? For Caesar salad deviled eggs, add olive oil, anchovies, and garlic. Top them with croutons, romaine lettuce, and Parmesan cheese. That sounds like a lot to top a deviled egg with, but I'm obsessed with this dessert deviled eggs thing.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say.
That makes me nervous.
Cream cheese, cocoa powder, powdered sugar, and heavy cream mixed together, topped with sprinkles and sea salt.
I'm not into that.
No?
No, I'm not into that. I'm sorry. I have to put my foot down on the dessert deviled eggs.
This is where I draw the line.
Yeah. I try to just go with the flow, but I can't. I can't sit here and let you put chocolate syrup on deviled eggs.
It's not going to happen. Deviled eggs dessert is not going to happen. It's kind of like fetch.
I've not seen Mean Girls or Squid Game. Maybe next year we'll be Mean Girls for Halloween.
Dude. On Wednesdays we wear pink.
Yeah, it's on Tuesday.
You have not seen Mean Girls?
Mean Girls is a movie for like junior high girls. So no, I've not seen
Everybody's seen Mean Girls. Yeah. It's fantastic. You have to watch it.
Yeah. My parents saw it on like the Broadway version of it.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, when it was in Columbus.
How funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fetch is not, it's not going to happen.
That's what I've heard.
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
That's Stop trying to make dessert deviled eggs happen.
I know, right? I think I'm gonna make some. Try it. If I make them, would you eat them? If I go to all that work,
If it
James,
appears here in front of me, I will try it. But I'm not going to like it. I'm not going to be happy about it.
All right, we'll see. Hey, special guest tomorrow, Mayor of Wellston,
Yeah,
Charlie
Charlie
Hudson
Hudson
will be here.
Yep.
Talked to him yesterday.
Did you tell him we're still in this building?
That's why I talked to him
Okay,
yesterday. He was a little confused on which
Yeah.
location to show up at, but I told him that
Okay,
we
good.
will still be here and look forward always to having Charlie Hudson here because he's always filling us in on, what's going on with
Yeah.
government and,
Mhm.
economic development and fun things they're doing in Wellston too.
Yep.
So he's involved in all that.
Yes.
So always a good time. All right. Anything else?
Got a lot of work to get ready for tonight.
No.
Got to figure
Busy,
it out.
busy.
We're still moving, still getting that studio set up. So we're just kind of figuring it out.
You can
But
do
it's
it.
going to be great.
It's going to be great because this fellow right here is going to make it great.
Don't give me credit for it. It's all Justin. He's the one figuring it all out.
Well, he definitely set up the stuff that
Yeah.
makes it. Well, you'll make it pretty. How's that?
We'll see. See what we can do.
You will.
And then, of course, speaking of that new studio, Matt's got that window. So I want it to become a thing that people start making signs like the Today Show and hanging outside the WKOV studio.
Correct.
So I want that to become a thing. So if you're driving past one morning this week, drive past that window and honk your horn, wave at Matt, make a sign.
Just, stick
Yeah.
your face like
Yeah,
this.
stick your face-
Whatever you
yeah.
want to do.
Yep.
We
stick
want
your-
face prints on that
Yeah.
window.
Yep. So take full advantage of the fact that window is there, please.
Yes, it's pretty funny. Yeah. All right. Mayor Hudson tomorrow.
Yes.
This will be fun. Election coverage, kind of
Yes.
probably recap as well. And make sure that you do tune in starting at 7:30 tonight, as election coverage will take off and won't go home until you know. There you go.
There
All
we
right.
go.
Have a great day, everyone. We thank you so much for watching, and we'll be back here tomorrow.
See ya.
Bye-bye. Toodles.
Toodles.